Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about why affirmations, positive thinking, and willpower are absolutely worthless when it comes to changing your money, to making more money, to having the freedom that you so desperately want. So affirmations, willpower, positive thinking, no bueno. They don't work. And we're going to discover the 3 secrets to unlock your freedom to wealth. Who wants to know that, right? Everybody wants to know that. I know I do. And so when you unlock your freedom and you have the wealth that you deserve, then you can make a bigger difference in the world. Well, you don't have to have the wealth first. As you're making the bigger difference in the world and you're growing your wealth, then you can also give back more. Like JK Rowling, Mother Teresa, and Melinda Gates. They've all dedicated themselves to giving back and helping other people, which is what we want to do as women. And so why is it that they're worthless? Because so many people talk about them. So many people practice them. They're worthless because they're working on up here, the superficial mind. This is part of your conscious mind, and your conscious mind does not run the show. It's not the one that's creating your money blocks in the first place. It is just way up here. Like I said, it's not the source. So in order to change your money, to change your wealth so that you have the freedom of time, the freedom of money, the emotional freedom. To have all of that, we have to go back to the beginning, which is what is creating the money blocks. And that is in your unconscious mind. It is not in your conscious mind. Conscious mind are these thoughts, these affirmations, these positive thinking, willpower, all of that. It's all lumped together. It just doesn't work. And you cannot change a thought with a thought. I don't know if you've ever pondered that. You cannot change a thought with another thought. It doesn't work because that's 2 different superficial things up here. It doesn't work. What does work is changing it at the 3 sources. Here's the 3 secrets. Changing it at the 3 sources that are creating the programming that is then creating the money blocks that then creates the behavior, actions or inaction, that ultimately creates our results or lack of results. So to try to change your thought at the thought level is like putting a Bandaid on your finger when you have a broken leg. You're not working on the source, so it's not going to work. It might make you feel slightly better for the moment that you put the Bandaid on, especially if it's a superhero image, on there, like Wonder Woman. That's fun. But it doesn't really change anything, and it doesn't change anything permanently. So your thoughts are the 5th of 7 steps of how you do money. So thoughts right here at the 5th, right here at the beginning, this is step 1, is making the change in your unconscious mind, making the change in your body and your nervous system, your neurobiology, your physiology, your posture, your biochemistry, all of that is body. Also making the changes back here at the source, the 3rd source, the heartset. This is about moving stuck emotions. When stuck emotions are running rampant, they cause all kinds of problems, not just with your money. They affect every area of your life. So they affect relationships, health, spirituality, money, of course, career. Did I say relationships? They also affect relationships. So it affects everything. So we need to have the heartset also shifted. Heartset again means moving those stuck emotions. It also means being in community and collaboration and collaborating with others, because it's so much easier and faster and funner to be able to to work together, to share together, to be a support system for each other. That's how we're wired to be as women. Like, we have that in our DNA, we have it in our neurobiology, it's in our nervous system. It's our best way to be. So if you want to be your authentic self and you want to share your gifts with the world and make a bigger impact, well, you need to be in a community. It's like an expansive, like a amplification of what you're going to be able to do and how many people you're going to be able to help and how easily and fast you're going to get there, right? Have you ever noticed when you're trying to do something all by yourself? You know, I'm not saying don't do anything by yourself. You do need to do some things by yourself. But if you're locking yourself into a vacuum and isolating yourself, and you don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of, you don't have anybody to help you when you get stuck, or you don't have somebody to help you with atta-girls when you do something good. Or share resources. That's another big one. When you're in a community, still talking about the heartset piece, that's when you get to share community or share resources. Things like knowledge, tools, time, introductions, people, systems, whatever it is. Maybe even it's just a book. Whatever it is, when you share, then you have a much easier way of making money. And your life is easier too, by the way. So much easier. So fifth step of how you do money, 5th out of 7 steps, is your thoughts. So steps 4, 3, 2, and 1 all go into forming those thoughts. And again, step 1 is that mindset, heartset, bodyset piece, where we must make the changes there at the source in order to ripple through and come on over here to step 7, which is your results and your success and your money and your abundance and your freedom. So if you only change here at step 5, you still have steps 1 through 4 keep coming in here, and it's just going to keep popping up like a whack-a-mole, you know, pop it down, up it comes. You haven't done anything to permanently change it. Welcome, ladies. So nice to see you. Feel free to type anything in the comments if you have any questions. I would love to answer them for you, or have something that you want to share. I've got some notes over here, so I'm just looking at my notes to make sure that I go through whatever we need to talk about. Yes. So we're going to talk now about thoughts and how they manifest into the physicality. Has anybody seen Dr. Emoto's work, E-M-O-T-O? He's a Japanese doctor who did a extensive study of water crystals. So he would take water, put it in different, I'm going to say petri dishes, and he would think and or say, but if you're saying you are thinking something to the water. So he'd say like love, or peace, or harmony, or I hate you, or you're ugly, or you're terrible. When he said positive things, and when he thought positive things, and it wasn't just him, other people were doing the thinking, those crystals formed the most beautiful shapes and structures and patterns. And when he didn't do that, when it was more of the negative or harmful thoughts, then they formed very kind of very rigid, but also very like not nice patterns. I'm going to show you here. I have it on my laptop. I know it's not the best, but you can kind of see. So see the different patterns? So like up here on the top row is all the positive ones, and the bottom row, you can see the difference, right? So your thoughts are doing that to your body. Type in the comments if you had an aha right there. If that just went ping for you, because those thoughts, those negative, harmful thoughts, take a toll on your body. Of course they take a toll on your mind too, and your mind is is what's actually creating that, it's your unconscious mind, then, you know, that's why things show up in our body so much. The tightness, the tension, the pain, the immobility, the not wanting to move, the anxiety also shows up when these thoughts are just so trapped in the body. Thoughts and also stuck emotions. So moving over to another set of charts. Hold the line for just a minute. We're going over here. Here we go. So we're going to talk about the difference between the conscious and the unconscious mind, because that is imperative to understand. So imagine an iceberg, and here's the water level. Here's the top of the iceberg, and then down here is this huge expanse of what's below the water, below the surface, right? Up here, the little bit that shows up here is your conscious mind. You think that's what's running the show, but it's really not. I'm going to show you another picture just so you guys can get the visuals. See there? Right up here, just this little bit right here, this is your conscious mind. This is your thoughts up here. All of this down here, this is your unconscious mind. So that's why it's imperative that we make the changes there below the surface at that unconscious mind level in what I call mindset, but a lot of people call mindset just the conscious mind level. And that's why your results haven't been what you've wanted them to be when you're trying to do that superficial type of work. So the conscious mind this is also where logical and critical thinking take place. It's where hustle happens. I know we have a lot of talk about hustling, but hustling is not in the flow. It's not being in harmony and alignment with you and your needs, your mind, your heart, and your body. None of that. Now, there's one thing to work hard and to work smartly. That's a different thing. But constantly hustling and pushing and resisting, that's not good for you. That's not healthy. So then below the surface now, the unconscious mind, that 95% of what really is running the show for you, what is creating your reality, this is where things are like beliefs, emotions, limiting decisions, fear. This is where your values are. A lot of people talk about being in alignment with yourself. You're talking about being in alignment with your values. This is your reactions, your attitudes, your long-term memory is down here. In the unconscious mind, we're talking below the surface. Your imagination and your identity and your intuition. So when we get disconnected from our intuition, that's when more glitches happen. And usually when we have a lot of money blocks, we are disconnected from our intuition. Our intuition is what really guides us. It's a gift. It's our sixth sense, also called your gut, like trust your gut. People say that. It's also I call it your infallible GPS, because it will always steer you in the right direction toward wherever it is you are meant to go. And it also takes the guesswork out of money making and out of decision making. It's quite phenomenal what you can do with your intuition. And so getting back in touch with that is imperative, especially for women. Why do you think they call it women's intuition? Because we have it more than men. It's scientifically proven that women have this sixth sense. The challenge is that we've grown apart from it, or we don't listen to it. Like, for example, when I was in corporate America and I was working as a corporate executive at the age of 33, I was running multi-billion-dollar programs. And I had disconnected from my intuition because I was so much more masculine than feminine. Like, I don't even know where my femininity went. I couldn't really find it for a while. But I was in the masculine, and I didn't want to listen to my intuition. I was more in the realm of analyzing and logic and thinking. And it did get me far. Like, I made a lot of money. I had a lot of power. I was able to go on vacation whenever I wanted, but I even denied myself going on vacation for 4 years because I was so in that mode of hustle that I was speaking about. So my intuition had told me repeatedly, you got to stop this job. Like, this job is not good for you. It's killing you, basically. And I just kept ignoring it and telling it to shut up. And then I also just started like, la, 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 la. I just wouldn't even let it in. And meanwhile, my body was suffering horribly. And I was in my mid-30s at the time. I was getting an ulcer. I was having panic attacks. I couldn't sleep at night. I was gritting my teeth 24/7. I actually cracked a tooth. The only crown I have in my mouth is from that stress. And so finally I went to a doctor at USC, and he said, you have to stop this job. It's killing you. So I trusted him more than I trusted my intuition, which was telling me this years ago. So that's a long story to tell you how important intuition is. Type in the comments, how in touch are you with your intuition? Do you listen to it? First of all, it's listening to it, right? Secondly, ask it to help you. Ask it to guide you. Thirdly, do you trust it? And fourthly, do you act on it? It always steers you in the right direction. It's uncanny how well it does that. Good. So I'd love to see it in the comments. I haven't seen any comments come through yet, but how in touch are you with your intuition? You can just say a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being, hey, I'm 1 with my intuition. I listen to it. I ask it questions. I act on it. And I trust it, right? That would be a 10. A 0 is, what are you talking about, intuition? I don't even know what you're saying, right? So chances are you're somewhere in between. And have you had the experience of not trusting it? Most likely you have. Raise your hand or click on the thumbs up button so I can see, have you ever not trusted your intuition and you knew that it wasn't a good thing, but you did it anyway? Or just the reverse, your intuition said, do it, and you didn't do it, right? So the unconscious mind is so amazing. It does so many things for us. This is why we need to change there at the source. This is one of the sources. Good, we got a thumbs up. Yeah, somebody has, right? Chances are we all have. I know I have. I'm a repeat offender in the past. I rarely do that now. Sometimes I do. Most of the time I don't. On a big decision, I never do. So I'm just going to show you this quickly, and then I'm going to talk to it so you know what we're talking about. This is the inner workings of your unconscious mind, right? A lot going on here. So your conscious mind only knows a fraction of what's happening. It thinks it knows everything. Newsflash, it doesn't. So incoming information to your unconscious mind comes in at 2.3 million bits per second. That's a lot, right? 2.3 million pieces of information come in per second into your unconscious mind. Well, that's a lot, as you can imagine. So what do? Your unconscious mind so graciously filters it for you. It will either distort it, delete it, or summarize and generalize it because it's too much information. It's like a librarian. It just files it in different folders and compacts similar things toward each other. So then what it does is it outputs to your conscious mind. Do you want to know how much? Anybody want to guess? Go ahead and guess in the comments. How many bits per second does your unconscious mind get to know? Of the 2.3 million bits per second that comes into your unconscious mind, how many does that share with your conscious mind? I'm going to give you a moment to type that in. How many pieces of information per second? You are going to be dumbfounded. Okay, 2.3 million is the unconscious mind. 126 is all the conscious mind gets. So imagine if you had $2.3 million coming in and all you got out was $126. That's what the conscious mind gets. So that's why when we talk about affirmations and positive thinking and willpower and hustle, it's never going to cut it, because that's not the big dog on the block. The big dog is the unconscious mind, and that's where we have to make the changes. That's who we need to talk to. That's where we need to flip the switch, because that is the one that's turning us on or off, right? So some directives, these are prime directives, which you can interpret as the purpose of the unconscious mind, is to store and organize our memories. How cool is that? That's what it does. And the more emotionally charged the memory was, the higher priority it's going to be given in our memory banks. Yeah. So more mundane things, we don't remember those so much, because they don't get tagged in the unconscious mind as, ooh, super important. And I'm talking about highs and lows. So, if somebody dies, that's significant. We're going to remember that. Or if we had a high achievement, like we climbed up Mount Everest, for example, that's going to go in the memory banks with a high mark on it, right? It also represses memories of unresolved negative emotions. You've heard of people who've had a traumatic experience and they're blacked out, like they don't remember anything. Or they've been in an accident, another type of trauma. They don't remember anything. They're like, I don't know what happened. That's it. It's your unconscious mind protecting you and your conscious mind from all of that trauma, because it's just too much. So money can be a form of trauma for a lot of people, whether it's a trauma that you have personally experienced or that has been experienced by your parents and their programming, their beliefs, their decisions that they've made about money, their emotions about money get transferred to you as a child because you accept them. You just adopt those right in because you want to be one with them, you trust them, and you think, oh, they must know because they're still alive and they're still operating, and I want them to continue to take care of me and protect me and guide me, and so I need to be like them, and if they think that's unsafe, I better believe that's unsafe. Does that make sense? I know I'm talking a little bit fast during this part, but it's really super important for us to know so that we can change our mindset, body set, heart set, so we can stop with those ridiculous affirmations and positive thinking and pushing ourselves to the brink. Because let me tell you, once you've changed that programming, it's changed for good. No maintenance is required. It's as if you literally flipped the switch on, because that is what you did. You flipped back on yourself. That's your inner self. That's your authentic self. It's just come right back on for you. So, emotions. So another part of the prime directive of the unconscious mind is emotions. It's an emotion manager, so to speak. It also can repress emotions for your own protection. So for example, if you're feeling angry, rather than act inappropriately on that anger, it's going to repress it for you. Or sadness. That's kind of the fine line between somebody who goes over into depression or anxiety, or heaven forbid goes into a suicide situation because of the sadness. It tries to protect you, and it does a pretty good job at that. So it does all kinds of other things. Let's see. Let me pick out a couple other good ones for you. It runs and preserves the body. Yeah, your unconscious mind, that's what it does. So the heart set, mindset, and body set, they are intertwined. And so if you only ever work on the mindset piece, you're never going to get there. You have to work on all three. It's super duper important. It is programmed to always seek more. I love that part about it. It always wants more, especially of the good stuff. All right. So I'm just switching back over for us, checking the time. Good. We are doing fantastic. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to type them in, or any ahas. I'd love to hear any ahas, any realizations, just something that by listening to this, you just go, whoa, okay, yeah, now I got that. I heard that. Yes. So a little homework that you can do as a result of this is you can write a Dear John letter. Right. You can write it to your affirmations, to your positive thinking, to your willpower. Just say goodbye to it. However you want to say goodbye, because that has really got to go. It's not serving you. It's not doing anything. It's a time waster, money waster, and energy waster. It's an energy vampire, because you think you're doing something, but you're really not. You could have been doing something else or nothing else, and you would have been actually better off. So write a Dear John letter to them. What would you say in your Dear John letter? I'd love to hear. Type in the comments like a quick phrase of what you want to say goodbye to. How would you say goodbye to your affirmations, your positive thinking, or your willpower? How would you do that? I don't know if you guys have heard of The Art of Clutter. It's a book that was written by a Japanese lady. Her name is Kondo, K-O-N-D-O. And so what she does when she's uncluttering, particularly her house, but you can do this with your mind. You can do this with your programs of your mind, body, or heart. She remembers the fond memories, if there are any. If there aren't, then there's nothing to do there. Then thanks it and wishes it well, and imagine it going off to help someone else, and blessing it and releasing it. So that's with a physical object like old clothes or, a tchotchke that you have that you no longer need. But here, in the case of the affirmations, the positive thinking, and the willpower, you can just go ahead and you can imagine that you're holding it and you're pulling it out of yourself like this. I mean, literally make these hand motions and wish it well as you release it. And as you release it and it goes out of you, out of your whole field, then you are in a much better place, right? You probably feel better even if you just did that little bit that we spoke about. So, does anybody have any questions? We're just about at the end of our time, and I want to make sure that we honor our time here in the group. So we talked about a lot today. We talked about the 3 secrets to unlock your freedom to wealth are changing your mindset, bodyset, and heartset. So you're eradicating the money blocks out of them. We talked about the difference between the minds, or the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, and how we really need to make our changes there in the unconscious mind. And I have a lot of tools to help you do that. My company is called Women Choose Wealth, and I have a course called the Mind Over Money Makeover, which you can go to mindovermoneymakeover.com and check that out if you're interested. I'm also happy to answer any questions for you guys or steer you in the right direction. You can reach out to me on Facebook. And then I have a free gift for you guys. One is a free quiz. Who doesn't like a quiz? It is so much fun. It's called the mymoneyblocks.com. So www.mymoneyblocks.com, and within 2 minutes, you get to know what your money blocks are. It sends you a confirmation email and it describes what's happening, and you will never find a quicker tool to help you with that. So that is my gift to you, and it has been my pleasure to be here with you today. I wish you well. Take care. Bye-bye.